Hey everybody, welcome to another Talks with Toya special edition here with my brother Marvin. And we have one of our honorees, Dr. Emma Easton, a great friend of both of our families, actually. Known her for my grandmother loved her dearly. So I just have to just say that out the gate. Her and Elder Easton are near and dear to our family's heart. We just cannot thank you all for all the love. I just gotta come straight with the flowers, sorry. That you gave my grandmother. She adored you all. She just really did. And so does our entire family. So thank you.
But we adored her too.
Yes, she was the girl. Listen, you are being honored. Marvin, what is the award category for the Columbus Gospel Fest that she is being
First
honored
of
for?
all, let me tell you how excited I am to have this lady. I just have so much love for her, and I think she knows it by now. She don't know how much I love her by now. I don't know what else to tell you, ma'am. You are such a jewel in the city of Columbus, Ohio. And this year, the Columbus Gospel Fest is honoring you, Dr. Emma Easton, with the Community Leadership Award being given by the Columbus Gospel Fest. Pastor Lamont Glover, his beautiful wife, and his daughter Eris, along with myself, they have allowed me to spearhead the legacy segment that happens at 3 o'clock at the Columbus Gospel Fest this year, September the 5th. 2026 at the Lauchi Building on the Ohio State Fairgrounds. During that 3 o'clock hour, we're going to be honoring different figures in Columbus, Ohio, such as our Community Leadership Award honoree, Dr. Emma Easton, a mogul, a, a music legend, an organist, musician, a teacher, professor, label head, director, owns her own record label. I mean, has had, I don't know what else to say about the woman. She's everyone, but she just,
Oh my
she
God.
is that. So, welcome everybody, Dr. Emma
Yes.
Easton. Congratulations to you.
Yes. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I just want to say I am truly, truly, truly honored to for this recognition, and I would just want to thank um, all of you, and especially the Gospel Fest Committee, everyone who was involved in this nomination, because truly it caught me off guard. And Brother Marvin knows that it caught me to a point that it just had me almost, well, not almost, it had me in tears. So I just want to say thank you so much for even thinking of me in those regards.
Well, the Bible is very clear, and it does state, and I'm just paraphrasing that, He will not forget the work and labor of love that you give into the saints, and that's exactly what you have done. I think one of the main reasons for me when I put your name in a hat is the love that you have given to people and opportunities that you've given to people that wouldn't normally get a chance from anyone. God used you as a vessel
Yeah.
to open doors
Indeed.
for the community.
And does.
Even before Columbus State,
Mm-hmm.
you had your own label, and you gave voice to people like Vanessa Oliver, who
Yeah.
should have been recorded, but God used you to open that door for her and
Yeah.
other opportunities. These music and art conferences that you've given people an opportunity. That to me, it talks about how unselfish you are and how loving you are. So don't be too surprised. This is absolutely well deserved. It really is.
Yeah.
Well, I truly, truly appreciate it, and I think my heart has always gone out to those who are unsung,
Mm.
and
Mhm.
it stemmed pretty much from my own childhood. And I
Mm.
don't want to go back and all of that, but I will say that it was a pastor who told me I wasn't good enough to play for the services when I was a child, trying to learn how to play.
Oh.
And
Mm.
that opened the door for me to make a pledge and a promise to God. I made a vow to God at that point that, Lord,
Mhm.
if you will provide me with the platform, I will always, always, always recognize and encourage other, young musicians and others in music ministry specifically.
Sure.
So and the Lord has been faithful. He has
Mhm.
continued to provide platforms that I think a lot of times I think I could have kept them to myself, but I always felt that I needed to share those platforms with others.
And
Wow.
how grateful we are. Isn't it amazing, Toya, that what could have been her weakness, she used it as her muscle?
Yeah, and I'm one of those people, one of those recipients. I had just got back from my deployment 2 years, and my grandmother had I think recently had joined the church, and you were doing something at Columbus State dealing with songs and songwriters, and I
Oh
had
yeah.
really just started playing, and this is 2007, and you were
Oh
like,
wait.
come and do your song at my showcase at Columbus State. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
In
yep.
2007.
2007. Yes,
Oh
ma'am.
my
I'll never
lord.
forget it. I'll never forget it because we were in
Oh my
white.
god.
Because at the time I was also helping because we were doing things with just the general area of the Church of God in Christ. So there was that. So we were at one point we were at Meredith Temple, and then there was the
Yeah.
various churches, and we were all coming together. And then you were like, "Hey, you have this song." I was like, "Yeah, I actually write," because I think my grandmother told you I sang or something. I don't know how we had this conversation, and then I found out you were at the church, and then oh, I know your grandma or something, and then it all just, yeah, and I was there.
Oh
Yep.
wow. That's
Uh-huh.
amazing.
Yeah.
You know, I don't even remember, but
2007.
praise God.
I'll never forget. That was like
You
my
know what?
first time really doing anything like original
That
before I
is
started doing
amazing.
my own concerts. So yeah.
I say to God
Hmm?
be the glory. I
Yes,
was
ma'am.
actually out of state one, and I was listening to this musician, and he was awesome. And I love awesome musicians, instrumentalists, and things of that
Mhm.
nature as well. And after the service, I was telling him that he did such an awesome job. And he said, "Well, you were the one who showed me my first chords." I said, "Are you
What?
serious?"
Wow. See there?
I did not remember.
You see what I'm talking about, Toya? And so we
Saying like,
asked the question, is my living in vain?
Yeah, that's my question.
Is it? Is it?
mm,
So you answer that for yourself, ma'am.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
No.
yeah,
Okay.
Finish it. Of
Okay.
course not.
yeah.
Well,
Look at
okay.
look at all the people you've touched.
You forgot, like, I'll never forget
Wow.
that, like, and I had just really started playing around on the piano. I mean, it was that long ago. It was a long, long time, and then I taught it to Oakley, and we actually ended up playing around and singing it. And that's why I just started playing around, like, I played, but I wasn't playing yet, so then I'm now, yeah, that was you. You're like, "No, you got it. Oh, this sounds great." I was like, "What?"
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
That's amazing. So Toya, you know what's very interesting. So I was going through her bio, even though I'm very familiar with her.
Mhm, mhm.
But you have so many different highlights. I don't even know if we can even put it into this one little half hour show, Toya.
Yeah, I was gonna start with her, with her dad, and I know growing up in the church, I was wondering how your family shaped your musical journey. I know you kind of explained the one pastor, but I know your the church that you're at Mount Zion. That church is your home church, your family church. So what was that like? How did your family, your father, have a say or a hand into your musical journey?
Well, you know what? My father was very instrumental in teaching all of his kids and the kids in the neighborhood and our cousins and everybody else. Anyone who came to our house, he said if they couldn't sing, they couldn't do music, they had to get out. And he
Oh,
meant that thing. So we all
Yeah,
had
that's
to
funny.
learn how, yes, we all had to learn how to read music. I think even before we could even write our own names, he had us singing
wow.
and
I
he had
know.
formed a group. Uh, it was called the New Light Gospel Singers.
Hmm.
And he always had, like I said, he had all of us singing, and we had to learn the music. And then he traveled to Georgia annually to sing what we had learned. So now my dad was not a member of Mount Zion. He was a member of Friendship Baptist Church.
Oh wow.
Oh, okay.
And so most people don't realize so we bounced between the two churches, but most of our time was spent at Mount Zion. But
Yeah.
my dad was very much involved in not just at Friendship, but he also would go around to other churches that were having musicals and things of that nature, and he would take
Mhm.
us. Yeah, he
Wow.
would take us. So we had that exposure. My mother was not necessarily, she said she wasn't a singer, she wasn't a musician or whatever, but
Mhm.
she tried to sing to support my dad in his endeavors.
Sure. Sure. How strong was the so we all know that the Church of God in Christ is so known
Mhm.
well known for that rich music heritage. Were there figures in the Church of God in Christ that helped shape who Dr. Emma Easton is and her musical endeavors? Of course, we know that the ever so loved Dr. Mattie Moss Clark, but there were so many in that particular denomination and that movement.
Yes,
Who helped to shape Dr. Emma Easton outside of your family,
I do
particularly from
want
the
to
Church of God
say,
in Christ?
yeah, I do want to say Dr. Mattie Moss Clark, because I always participated in the international national choirs that she directed. So she
Hmm.
had a strong influence on the things that I'm doing even today. Um, Outside of Dr. Clark, oh, there were a lot of local people who helped me. The first person that took time with me, her name was Catherine Weston. She was
Hmm.
actually a musician at Mount Zion, and she always seemed to be tired. And I told my mother, I said, Mom, I really want to learn how to play piano, because if people ask me to play, then I'm not gonna, back up. I'm not gonna say I'm tired. I'm just gonna be here. And so that was the first thing. And so Catherine Weston had told me, I guess you could say she prophesied to me that I would be the next musician for the church. And so
Wow.
she took
Wow.
me to her house, week after week, and started showing me chords, to play for the services and things of that nature. And then there was Dean Clifford Hooks, who used to buy music for me. And he
Hmm.
said, every time I'm on the organ, I want you on the piano. And then
Wow.
there was
Wow.
also Dr. Now he wasn't a doctor, but Brother Herbert Lindsay. I don't know if you heard of him, but
Hmm.
he was phenomenal organist out
I
of
have.
Florida.
I have.
And he took time with me as well. So it was people like that, that I think helped to shape me. And of course, I was exposed to all the national celebrities,
Sure.
such as the Clark sisters and, let's see, Kim Burrell and, I used to really love, what's his name? Oh, Lord have mercy. It's James Moore.
I knew he was gonna say James Moore. Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I love me some James Moore. So,
Sure.
um,
Masterful, masterful vocalist. Oh my God.
yes,
And sorely missed. Sorely missed. Yeah.
yes,
Definitely he definitely died before his time, in my opinion. So yeah. Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow. So
And
is
then your
it true that Dr. Clark, is it really true Dr. Clark threw shoes at y'all? Or is that just a myth?
What'd you say?
Is it true that Dr. Clark really threw her shoes at you all?
Yes, very true. Very
I knew. I
true.
was just. Did you ever experience it? That's
Absolutely.
what I wanted to know.
Oh, yeah. She was
Oh
well,
wow.
I don't want to say she was mean, but she was stern
Mhm.
and serious about music. So,
Sure.
some people didn't understand it at that point, but, now I throw my shoe. But, I said, I'm not going to do like Mattie Moss Clark and throw it because everybody's messing up. I'm throwing it because I'm just amazed at how well you're doing.
Good stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah. Flipping it.
Hmm.
Flipping it.
Wow, that is amazing, Toya.
And
That's
you also get
awesome.
to play with your husband. I think it's also, I mean, like your own family. You've got your husband plays, your sons play.
Yes, it's all in the family. Everyone, like I said, my dad used to tell folks, if you can't sing or do music, then you need to get out. And so we all wanted to stay home or in the house.
Sure,
So
sure, sure.
we did what we had to do. And so everyone either sings, my sisters all sang. My one sister, my oldest sister, Addie, she was very much
How
involved in a lot of
I loved
different
her.
choirs and groups. And now her daughter, of course, is all over the place singing.
Yeah,
And
you know,
that's Rhonda,
I
Rhonda's
sing with
prophet.
Rhonda.
Yeah,
Me
that's
and
my
Rhonda
niece.
sing together. We sing
Yes,
together with Ray's production.
yes, yes, yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
and I loved your sister. I love Mother. I loved her. I really did. She was something else, and I loved her. You have a very rich family, and I'm very what you have done with Colin and Cedric.
Thank you.
Man,
Thank
those
you.
guys have such an impact on their generation as
Mhm.
far as music. So you have done what you were supposed to do. So again, I would say your living is not in vain. So Toya, what people don't know is the first directors for Columbus State Gospel Choir was Willie Barthel and Marvin Miller Jr. However, Willie Barthel and Marvin Miller Jr. got very busy. Our lives got very, very busy. And out of nowhere, here comes this woman named Dr. Emma Easton, who took it in her hand and has made this such a community love.
Mhm.
Talk to me about the Columbus State. What is it? The vocal ensemble. What's the proper name?
Columbus State Gospel Vocal Ensemble.
Yes. Talk to me about your love for them, and talk to me about how that came about for you.
Well, it was really kind of interesting because at the time, I know, I think Willie was on a sabbatical. And so I was called and was said I had been referred. And so,
Mm-hmm.
of course, went through the process. And this is a true story right here that we went through the, what do you call it, the interview process and what have you. And they also called Willie to consider coming back to the to direct the choir. And it, of course, there's a class at Columbus State. And so we both interviewed for the position. And
Okay.
Willie
Mm-hmm.
actually got the position because there was only
Okay.
one position available.
Right.
And so they hired Willie because of his background and his experience. And so, you know, I was cool with it because I was still working with my music production company. And at a
Sure.
particular time, I was working on the Gospel Performing Arts Expo, which is a community initiative that, you know, that the Lord birthed in my spirit. And we were doing it at the convention center. And that's pretty
Okay.
much how I got referred. Someone said they knew me and what I was doing with gospel music on a little bit larger scale. And so, anyhow, you know, I was satisfied with that. And then a couple of weeks later, Columbus State called me and they said, we know Willie accepted the position. We only had the one class, but we also want you to come as well. And so they decided that they were going to create a class for me. And
Wow.
so Willie had the
Wow.
daytime class and I had the evening class.
Mm.
So
Just for you, they created a class. Wow.
yes, they created a class for me. And they, you know, because they felt that there was a population that was not being served and that the choir would help to fulfill that that gap. So we got to the week before. Oh, and I talked to William, you know, we conversed and I said, William, I'm actually nervous about doing this, that third. And he said he would help me through it or whatever. And I said, okay, that's fine. And so then we got to, I think it was maybe the week before the classes were to start. And Willie decided he wanted to do something else because he was also engaged in a big project in the community.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
And so he didn't
Mm-hmm.
see how he could do both. And
Right.
so he bowed out of the daytime class. And then Columbus State asked me if I would mind taking both classes.
Wow.
And that's how
Sounds
it,
like favor to me, Toya. I don't know. It sounds like favor.
And does. But he will always make room for you, and then he always creates things. And I think that's the amazing thing about our God. So when there's
God
things
is amazing.
called on you, he just will create it for you and open doors one way or another, even when we least expect it. And that's the blessing part.
Oh, yeah, definitely was a blessing. And then when I told Willie, you know, I said, you know, I'm scared, Willie. And he was like, he said, what you scared for? He said, you've been doing this.
Yeah.
And so he said, just do what you've been doing.
Yeah.
So and
Yeah.
that's, you know, pretty much what I you know, start doing and just start branching out a little bit more with the program and what have you. So, and that was 20 years ago.
Whoa.
Has
I
it been
can't
that
believe how
long?
long it's always been.
For real? Has it been? Oh my God.
That's
Yes,
wild.
we're actually going to have our 20th, what do you call it? 20th year reunion concert this year in December.
Okay.
Really?
We gotta make sure you
Yes,
have you back on and some of the members so we can talk about that and talk about the 20 years and if there's anybody else from Columbus State. So I'll get with you offline. But don't forget, we gotta
I'd love
celebrate
to.
that. We gotta
Thank
celebrate
you.
that. Now we gotta take it back. I was starstruck low key when I found out after because my mom used to bring us down there to the Santa Maria and you were doing gospel celebration and I had no idea all that
Yes.
time it was you until like I met you when I was an adult. Like that was you. Like,
Oh,
how did
yes.
you get involved with even doing something like? And I just thought it was so unique because you always see everything's always in the church, and you were bringing Jesus outside the four walls. Let's just say what it is. Um,
Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of glad you asked me that because, you see, I was working at the Columbus Symphony, and I was one of the managers there, and I worked Picnic with the Pops. And one of the things that Picnic with the Pops at that time was held at Chemical Abstracts. And I would
Right.
watch how thousands of people would come for these concerts, these secular concerts, and they didn't care if it was raining out or anything. I was at one concert and people were actually getting underneath their tables waiting for the music to start.
wow.
And then they would come out, and we had like at least 10,000 people who would come. And I said, God, this doesn't make no sense. How is it that I'm here working and doing all this to help make these concerts go over when I could be doing
Sure.
it for you?
Mm,
And that was my thought at that time. And so anyway, time went on, and I was at like a networking event for the Columbus Motor Coach Council, I think it was, or something like that. And I decided I was going to sit at a table where I didn't know anyone. And that's what I did.
Hmm.
As it turned out, one of the persons that was sitting at my table was the executive director for the Santa Maria.
wow.
Wow.
And she wanted to diversify their offerings. And so she knew of my work with the symphony and asked me if I would be willing to assist them. Now, I had also done some work with Ballet Met, but anyway, that was neither here nor there. And so we were talking about it. And so she said she wanted to diversify. And I said, well, would you consider gospel music? And you know what
Mm.
she said? She said no.
Oh,
Really?
She said no. And I said, okay, all right. Well, if you want to get a certain class of people, a certain group of people down, that might work. I'm just saying. So anyhow, I went away and I prayed about it. And then it seemed like God said to me to ask her again. And I thought, well, you want me to go and get humiliated? And I guess God said yes.
Right.
And back, I was crazy enough to do it. So I went and I asked her again in our next meeting, and she said, no. I said, no, I don't think we want to do that. And I said, you don't want to try gospel music? She said, no. I said, okay. I accepted it. But then in my next prayer time, God told me to ask her a third time.
Jesus.
And I said,
Wow.
seriously?
I
And
know.
so anyway, but I was crazy faith.
Yeah.
Went out there.
Yes.
I asked her a third time, and she said, okay, we'll try it for 1 year. And, if it's, it works, fine. But if not, no. So guess what? I tried it the first year. And at the end of the first year, I went up to her and I asked, what did she think? And she said, I loved it. And she said, I
Wow.
want to keep doing it. As long as you are in charge of it, I want to keep doing it
Mm.
from this point forward. And we
As
did
long
it
as you're in
every
charge.
year, and it just kept getting bigger and bigger. We had 2 stages,
Mhm.
Yep.
and just the vendors were
It was
everywhere,
beautiful.
and it was just
Yeah.
really getting big. And our very last one was at the Bicentennial Park. And
Okay.
the only reason why we stopped is because the city decided to do the Scioto Mile project.
Yeah.
And so
I
then
remember.
they decided
Oh,
to collapse
right.
the Santa
That's right.
Maria,
Yep. That's right.
and
It went right to
they
that.
said it wasn't bringing it back. And it was kind of interesting because even some of the community people were that lived in that area said that they didn't feel good about the Jesus music being over there Bicentennial. But you know what? And I'm just going to say this, and I'm sorry for talking so much.
No, but
No, this is your night. This is your night.
Oh Lord, I'm telling you, I believe that we planted a seed
Mhm.
because this year, I know the people out there had said they didn't want to have that Jesus music out there
Mhm.
by
Mhm.
Bicentennial, but this year, let me see, was it the Five Blind Boys or the Blind Boys of Alabama or somebody was out there singing gospel music?
Here's the Blind Boys of Alabama. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you know what? I feel like we planted the seed back then and now it's growing, and that they're allowing that
Mhm.
quote unquote Jesus music to be in the midst.
Mhm. Wow.
So I'm
Well, the one
sorry.
thing I think about when I think about you, it sounds to me that not only do you carry such a strong faith, but with your faith and your vision, favor follows. You have, oh my God, so many. God, your vision has bought the Gospel Cafe and
Yep.
it's bought the Saturday night jams, of course. And then, of course, let me just say this segue, Toya, the Gospel Music Hall of Fame. And I was the ninth and youngest honoree to be inducted into
Mhm.
that. And I still want to say thank
Yes,
you for that. I'll never forget that.
absolutely.
That was just 3 years ago. Where did this bold vision thing come in? Because you are literally a woman with all of these visions. You implement them, and they just work. Where did
Yeah.
this come from?
God,
Come on,
That's
enough
it.
said. All right, next
God,
question.
Right. Moving on. She's like, God, and that's
There's
it.
that.
Period.
period.
There's nothing else to add.
Yeah.
But it's
Nothing else
also
to
your
add but
Yeah,
that.
obedience, though. But it's also
I
your
don't.
obedience because you went back 3 times. I'm just saying. So it was God, but he it was your obedience too. Because God can tell you things, and when you're not obedient, then they don't work. But if you wouldn't have went back that 3rd time, the gospel celebration wouldn't be what it is, and that is a core memory for me for that particular thing. When I was like, "That's the way they did it." Oh my God, I was all starstruck, like I said. So yeah, obedience, God of obedience. That's the recipe.
Obedience.
So, do you understand and do you see why you are being honored? All of the stuff we just talked about. Do you understand your impact
Yeah.
on this community? And I bet you if we can add people on here, you would have probably a multitude of people
Hmm.
saying or being a witness to who Emma Easton have been in their lives.
Hmm.
Whether you know it or not, ma'am, you've touched lives.
Yep.
Whether you know it or not, ma'am, the people that you give an opportunity to,
Yep.
that has stayed with them. I look at the singers from the gospel ensemble. They're not your typical gospel singer. Some of them, they just love to come and their lives are changed just being with you. They have such a reverence for you.
Yeah.
You are so deserving of this honor that you're receiving on next Saturday.
Yeah.
Well, honestly and truly, I don't see it from that perspective. And, I just feel it goes back to what Toya was saying about obedience, because it
Mhm.
seems like whatever God would bring to me, it would be in a huge package. And my first
Mhm.
response is usually, seriously?
Sure.
And to get to a point that, I don't know. I just don't see it that way. But you know what? I'm thankful. I appreciate it.
Mhm.
To me, it is
Mhm.
such an honor to even have been thought of in those terms.
Yeah.
Well, perhaps
So
you
we
you
say
don't.
thank
Perhaps
you.
perhaps this is why you're being honored because you don't see it. See, everything is Jesus focus.
Yeah.
You're focused on Jesus. You're focused on what God told you to do. And so when I believe, Toya, and I don't know if you can witness to this, but I think once you keep your focus on what the Lord told you to do, self comes out of the way. So you're
Okay.
not going to see it. And so that's why the Bible always talks about let the lips of another man praise you. And so let these lips praise you today, ma'am.
Yeah.
You are some kind of wonderful.
Yes.
Thank you.
You really are.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. But you
We're
know
just talking
what?
about when she
I
played
feel
that
like
organ.
you are some kind of wonderful. I feel Toya is some kind of wonderful.
That's good.
Hmm.
Well, we're
But
wonderful
it's
because of you. So how about that?
because of
There's
people
that.
like yourself. You were
Like
doing it
you,
way
like
before we were
I wish
doing it.
exactly would not be
Yeah.
doing half the things. And when you play that organ,
Oh my God.
that's it for me. I'll be
Oh
like,
my God.
I'm sitting there like, what's happening? It's amazing.
Oh my God. Oh yes, those fingers just go and they just spread so
Yep.
far. You see
Yep.
it? I was like,
Yep.
oh my
And if she
God,
worked that
how
foot,
her fingers do that. Yeah. What's next for Dr. Emma Easton? Are you still doing the label or what's next coming up big for you besides the honor that you're getting next week?
Um, what is next? Well, let me see. I am currently trying to write a book. I'm trying.
yes.
I've actually
All right.
I actually started one years ago about grief, excuse me, and dealing with grief because when my dad passed away, I was so grief stricken that I didn't think I would ever recover.
Wow.
Sure.
And, and even to this day, I don't know if I've recovered, but there was something that happened with Cedric, with my son Cedric, at that time. And I recall when we told him about it, Cedric made a comment and he said, he had a dream and he said, Mom, Granddad said, heaven is like silk. And from that point, it went in my
Mm.
spirit. And so I've been trying to write this book out for years. And so now I finally got the manuscript done. And so I want to release that. Plus, I also want to release, there's some other things I want to release. Some of the things that I had to, that are part of my dissertation, for my doctoral degree. And so my former pastor, Superintendent Howard, had given me a suggestion. And so I want to follow through on that suggestion, as it pertains to that topic, and it deals with music. It's on the music tip.
Mm-hmm.
So most
Fantastic.
people don't know I'm more behind the scenes kind of person when it comes to music now. So I want to
Well,
release that
yeah, well,
information.
behind the scenes, but it's so out there. We all see it. You can be behind the scenes all you want to. We see it, ma'am. We
Yeah.
see it. You shine bright.
Yeah.
You
Even though
shine
we
bright.
started out, and then you're pastoring now too. You and your husband are pastoring. That's beautiful. Beautiful.
Uh-oh. Wait a minute. Wait, I felt something there. What just happened?
You see, when my husband told me that the Lord had called him to do this, all I could do was say, "Are you kidding me?" Okay. And I said, "That's a whole nother layer, whole nother level,
Oh,
so much
yes.
more devils."
I'm a pastor's son for many, many years. I understand it.
So, yeah. So that part, I'm trying to help him build the ministry. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to see his ministry because if we're one, it's our
Amen.
ministry.
Amen.
So I'm trying to help him with that as well as do the books. And I do want to do a stage play. I
Oh,
do want to
nice.
do that. Yes.
Okay.
And I do want to bring back the Gospel Performing Arts Expo. We were scheduled to do it the year of the pandemic and we
Really?
got shut down. We
Oh,
only do it every 3 years.
Okay.
And so,
right.
so I really want to bring I want to bring back. And then, of course, celebrate this anniversary in December.
Okay.
That's exciting. That's so exciting.
Well deserved.
Toya,
Congratulations to you guys on 20 years. That's amazing.
Thank
Me and
you.
Barbara were both shocked that it's been 20 though. We were like, what? It's been
like, wait a minute, 20 years is out of this world,
yeah,
man. That really seems like yesterday.
It really
Toya, what I
does.
love, what I appreciate about you, Toya, is that you would take time with your platform to celebrate someone of this caliber.
Yes.
She doesn't feel, but she really is of caliber and she's loved in the city. So I want to say thank you to you, Toya,
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
you're sharing your platform and I appreciate it.
Yes.
And Toya, I wish you God's blessings and God's elevation because you remind me of her. You're like a miniature version
Yep.
of Dr. Emma Easton because you're always
Yep.
working, you're always providing
Yes.
opportunities and things of that nature. So it's my
That's
desire
right.
that God will bless you the way that He has blessed her. I'm
Yes.
talking to two amazing women, and my prayer for the both of you is God continue to elevate. Y'all continue to go forth, keep dreaming, keep implementing.
hmm
With vision, without vision, the people really do perish. So y'all keep going forth. And I celebrate the both of you. I really do.
Yes, what is one thing that has held you? I know that there's been a lot, with transition getting your doctorate and like you're now pastoring. What has kept you on the course?
God.
Listen, I love her answers. God, period. Like I don't know, God, period. That's it. I love
That's like
it.
a whole diction. That's like a whole
That's
encyclopedia in
the whole
itself.
book
It's
right
like,
there. God, period.
period. It's a whole book,
Done.
forget
Like I
it.
don't know what we're talking about. It's
Yeah.
all about him, and I get it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Good.
yeah.
And I love the fact
Yeah.
that you're willing to have your hands in a different places, like you're from the educational aspect of music, to also ensuring giving people opportunities, not just playing music, but singing and teaching. That shows the whole well-roundedness of who you are. And I think that's pretty dope. And to hear you want to do a stage play, I'm like, okay, I'm ready to get my ticket. All right, so when we sell the tickets, so we can be at the stage play, I'm all for it. I think it's great. It's exciting because,
I
and then I
think it
also
is
think
wonderful.
it's an inspiration to other people who may be even thinking like, no matter, as you may have had your children, you're older now and doing your season, but you're still going. And I think that is the thing. Like I always tell people, like as long as you have breath in your body, you have an assignment. And I love the fact that you recognize that you were quick with it when you when Marvin said, "What you got next?" She was like, "Well, this book and this stage." I was like, "Okay, you better be ready." Like and ready. It was not didn't miss a beat. Didn't take a long time to respond. So anyone listening, as long as you got breath in your body and God has you here, there's an assignment. And this is a living example. Like she's not done. She's still got work to do and she's going to do it. And that's one of my favorite scriptures, Ecclesiastes 9:10. Whatever your hand findeth to do it with all your might.
Mhm.
Do
Mhm.
with all your might.
Yep. Well, your
Amen.
grandmother was that example too, because even on her sick bed,
Don't
she
make me
was still
cry.
ministering. She was still
She sure was.
evangelizing.
I can't even
And
lie.
she was trying to talk and she couldn't get it out. And I said, "Mother," which is what I called her. And I said,
Yeah.
"Mother, do you mind if I just print it out what you want people to know?" And she said,
Tell me that.
and I asked her Linda if I
Uh-huh.
could, if it would be okay. And she said yes. So I printed out her what she was asking all the
Asking
doctors
people.
and
Yep.
nurses,
Yep.
and
I
so
remember
she could
that.
hand them out.
She was so happy. She was so happy. And I remember even the day that she passed, she said the same thing. They asked, "Is there anything I could do for you?" They asked him. And she said, "No, but I need to know, do you know the Lord?" And she asked them, "Do you know that Jesus is coming and are you ready?" Is what she
Yeah,
asked them that day. Like
yep,
up until the day she went home to be with the Lord, she was asking people, bringing people to Christ and reminding them about how good God is. And I was like, man, that's how I'm trying to do it right there.
absolutely. Yep.
Even
And
in your roughest moment, still serving.
my uncle
Still.
Mike said something. He's 81. He
Hmm.
said, "I'm going to live until I die."
That's
Ah,
good. I don't. That's it right there. Go ahead, Uncle Mike. Shout out to Uncle Mike.
Yes,
He said, "I'm gonna live until I die."
until I die. And he
I want to.
travels. He does,
Hmm.
drives. He drives from here to New York constantly.
Wow.
That's amazing. My last question for me, Toya. Um, there's young people out here that really they want this. They want the gospel. They want the platform. They want the. What would be your advice to young artists for staying power? What would be your advice to young artists about the importance, especially those who strive for gospel? What would be your advice to them as far as elevation is concerned, as far as being strong in their gifting? Um, how would they stay out there? What advice would you give them trying to get out there in gospel?
This is not going to be a favorable response. However, I would say, number one, be authentic,
Yes, ma'am.
because too many people are trying to be like everybody else,
Talk
Yeah.
about it today.
and they need to be unique
Talk about it
in
today.
order to stand out, and not just stand out amongst their peers and what have you, but to stand out with God. Um, they need to be integral. They need to have a sense of integrity. Um, I think that is pretty much gone out the window in a sense, that people are so quick to follow the dollar instead of following God. And
Wow.
if they get to a point where like Toya mentioned this thing about obedience, I think that's the main thing. Is you have got to have a relationship with God.
Yeah.
It's got to be an authentic relationship with God. It can't be this jump and shout just because the music sounds good, but a jump and
Yes,
a
ma'am.
shout because you got something inside that you can thank God for, and that you
Yes,
realize
ma'am.
that you can't do anything in and of yourself,
That's
because the
good.
word even says that in Him I move, and I have my
Live
being.
That's
Yes,
it.
ma'am.
And so I think
My
that
God.
that part has to be there. There has to be that relationship. There has to be, if they want sustainability, they have to learn how to fast. They have to know how to pray. They have to have a
Woo.
relationship with God.
Yeah.
They got to
Real
step
fast.
out. They got to step
Yes, ma'am.
out of themselves
Yeah.
and let God come in and fill it, fill them up, fill up
Mhm.
the void, fill up the places, and live and walk according to the anointing of God. And I think that that is what is missing. Sometimes I see young people jumping and shouting just because the music sounds good,
Mm.
but they need to jump and shout because God is good.
Come on.
Right there.
Come on.
Don't jump and shout because the music is good. Jump and shout because God is good.
That's good,
Absolutely.
Dr. Emma. That's good,
For
Dr.
sure.
Emma. Wow, this has been so rich, Toya. Thank you for that advice. And I hope the young people, and not just young artists, but artists, period, who are seeking this,
Mhm.
Absolutely. The
my
one thing that the
age,
Lord
in the
showed
40s.
me, the Lord shared with me that I am the job. Like when I was jobs were shutting down, and he told me I am the job. And that's the thing, is that the jobs were coming to me. I wasn't going to them.
Mhm.
The doors were opening for me. I wasn't trying to, get in there and see my way through and trying to brown nose and all that stuff. If it's for me, what's that song says? What God has for
It's for
me,
me. It is for
it
me.
is for me.
That's my joint. I ain't gonna lie. I'm about to play that
Yeah.
after this.
So yeah, they don't have to be, trying to be all this, that, and the third. That God will open the doors for them. I'm
Hmm.
sorry, I
And
didn't
only
mean to.
what you do for Christ for only what you do for Christ for last, Dr. Emma.
Absolutely, absolutely,
Yes,
absolutely,
ma'm. Yes, ma'am.
absolutely.
Yes,
Well,
ma'am.
Y'all gonna get me
congratulations.
over here. Oh Jesus! Now I need some water. Where's the adjutants when you need them? I need an armor bearer. I need an executive director. I need an
Listen.
administrative assistant.
Ah,
Have mercy, where are
Toya,
they?
this has been so Toya. This is awesome.
Congratulations to you. I'm so happy for you. Well deserved, ma'am. Well deserved. And I'm just looking forward to the stage playing the book. And then
Thank
I
you.
make sure I get in touch with me so we can talk about the concert. Make sure we're there so we can help cross promote as well and support you
Thank you.
any way we can. And shout out to Columbus State for supporting as well, because everybody doesn't do that.
That's
And
right.
also be in community too, so you don't necessarily have to be a student. I think that's also a bonus. And you also covered. I meant to mention this earlier. You do the MLK breakfast too. So I was there this year and heard
Yes.
you guys do some of those programs as well and bringing
So
gospel into.
many programs.
I
Listen,
know.
Toya, they be on tour, don't they?
Yeah, yeah.
They be on it. I'm like, oh my
I was
God, there
like,
they
I
are
want
again.
to, yeah, yeah. They want all the
There
tickets.
they are
I was
again. I
like,
said, this
come
little
on
lady,
there.
she got so much energy. Toya, I definitely didn't. Of course, I always want to shout out Pastor Lamont Glover, his beautiful
Yes,
wife, and of course, Eris,
yes,
for this opportunity. And again,
Yes.
everybody, next Saturday, September the 5th, starting at 12 o'clock p.m. to 8 p.m., so many amazing artists from our community and other cities will be here to share their gifts in song at the Columbus Gospel Fest, the 42nd annual Columbus Gospel Fest. And during the 3 o'clock hour will be our Community Legacy Series, where we are going to be honoring legends, Dr. Milton and Merlin Ruffin, Quan Howe, Mr. Joe Moorhead, our Woman of Gospel, Camille Benton Williams, our Millennial Trailblazer Award honoree, Antoine Walker, our Founders Award honoree, Apostle Lafayette Scales, and of course, our amazing community leadership honoree, Dr. Emma Easton. We hope to see you guys there at the Lauchi Building on the fairgrounds. Hope to see you guys there.
and I just put the registration link in the comments for you guys. So if you haven't had an opportunity, they were talking about that last week on our show when we had Dr. Pastor Glover and Eris making sure you register because they're doing giveaways for the
Oh,
science kits and things like that. So I did drop the registration link in the comments. So if you're listening before next week, make sure you do that and head over to their socials and support. Again, congratulations. Thanks, Marvin, for hanging out with
Absolutely.
me. It's
God
Talks with
bless you, Dr.
Toya.
Emma
Listen,
Easton.
always
thank you
working,
so much.
always serving, and we're always about him. Y'all have a blessed week, and we'll see you next Thursday right before.
Dr. Merlin and